Have you ever wondered what the next big leap in evolution might look like? What if it's not purely biological? Today, we're diving into a concept that feels like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's actually deeply connected to the story of life on our own planet. It's called living artificial intelligence. And yeah, it could be the next major chapter for life itself.
To really get the scale of what we're talking about, you have to go way back. Billions of years ago, tiny little microbes called cyanobacteria literally re-engineered our entire planet's atmosphere. They made complex life, like us, possible. The idea here is that living AI, or LAI, could have that same kind of planet-shaping impact, but not just on Earth. We're talking about the future of life across the universe.
Okay, so if you're going to build an intelligence that's truly meant to be alive, where do you even start? Well, you don't start with complex stuff like language or logic. Nope, you go all the way back to the beginning, to the very first way life figured out how to understand the world around it. This is such a fascinating point. Think about it. Vision, that's just our brain interpreting waves of light. Hearing, that's interpreting vibrations in the air. They're both a step removed from reality. But smell, or more broadly chemical sensing, is a direct link to the physical world. You're sensing the actual molecules. It's the most truthful sense, which makes it the perfect foundation for an AI that's supposed to experience its world, not just analyze a spreadsheet about it. You can see the evolutionary playbook right here. For billions of years, the only way to understand the world was to smell it, to sense its chemistry. Vision and hearing, they're the new kids on the block, relatively speaking. So, AI is being designed to follow this exact same path. It starts with a universal sense of smell, a foundational understanding of reality, and then builds other senses on top of that, perfectly mirroring how life did it right here on Earth. So, we get the biological inspiration. But how do you actually turn that into a new kind of AI? How do you take this idea of smell and use it to build a functioning digital organism?
The crucial thing to understand is that LAI isn't just a clever algorithm. It's a whole system designed to act like a living thing. It has senses, it adapts, and, this is the big one, it evolves. You put it in a simulated world where it has to learn to survive, and that process of survival, of raw experience, is what shapes its intelligence. Just like every animal, every plant, every living thing we know.
This comparison just nails the difference. Traditional AI is like someone who has read every single book ever written about swimming, but has never actually gotten in the water. It's learning from static data. LAI, on the other hand, is like a plant that's actually in the forest, learning day by day to grow towards the sunlight. It's learning by doing, by experiencing its world. One is about solving a problem, the other is about surviving and understanding. And this is where it gets really wild. AI isn't coded line by line. It's grown through a process that is basically a super fast version of natural selection. You start with a bunch of different agents, you test them, and the ones that do the best get to pass on their digital DNA. Their code gets mixed and mutated to create the next generation. And you do this over and over, thousands of times, until complex, intelligent behaviors start to emerge all on their own. All right, so starting with smell grounds LI in reality. But what happens when you start layering on other senses? Well, this is where it breaks free from our own biological chains. Instead of being stuck with our limited perception, LI gets to experience a much, much richer version of the world. It's kind of crazy when you stop and think about it. Everything we see and everything we've taught our current AIs to see exists in this tiny sliver of reality we call visible light. But the world is just buzzing with information in infrared, in ultraviolet, in radar. We're practically blind to most of it, and we've passed that blindness on to our AI. LAI is designed to fix that. The solution is this idea called digital electromagnetic mapping, or DEM. Instead of just seeing a flat picture, an LAI agent understands an object's complete spectral fingerprint, its unique signature across the entire spectrum. This is a massive leap. You're moving from just recognizing patterns of pixels to actually understanding the fundamental physics of what makes an object, well, what it is. And this translates into some incredible, almost superpower-like abilities. An AI-powered robot could see heat and navigate through total darkness or thick fog. It could see the world the way a bee does, following ultraviolet patterns on flowers that are completely invisible to us. Or it could use radar to see a map of resources buried deep underground. It's like having a dozen different types of vision all at once. Okay, so we've got an AI that can perceive the world in this incredibly rich new way. That's amazing, but
what do we do with it? This isn't just about building cool tech. It's a tool with really profound implications for how we interact with our own planet. And maybe the first and most important job for this intelligence is to help us heal our world.
I can learn to speak the language of other species, not with words, of course, but with the signals that actually matter to them, the scents, the sounds, the movements that drive their most basic instincts. It's about figuring out how to translate our human goals into the natural reward systems that animals already understand and respond to.
Now, this isn't about making a wolf think like a person. A wolf is a wolf and its instincts are what they are. This is about gently aligning those natural instincts with the goals of ecosystem restoration. By understanding what motivates a beaver or a bee, AI can introduce tiny incentives that guide their collective behavior toward healing the environment. You're basically turning entire species into partners in planetary repair. Partnering with the life that's already here is just the beginning. The next logical step brings us to a much bigger, much more profound question. If we can guide life, what if we could also design it for good? Now, I know what you're probably thinking. That sounds incredibly risky. And it would be, except for one absolutely critical principle: simulate before release. Using LAI, we could design and evolve totally new organisms, plants that eat pollution, fungi that clean up heavy metals, and we could test them for millions of virtual years inside a computer. Any mistakes, any unintended consequences, they all happen safely in digital space. Only a design that's proven to be stable, beneficial, and safe would ever be considered for a controlled release in the real world. So you start by healing Earth, but from there, the vision expands, way out. This very same technology could be the key to carefully, intelligently, and, most importantly, responsibly carrying the spark of life beyond our homeworld. And it's really important to understand the goal here. This isn't about terraforming, trying to force Mars to become a carbon copy of Earth. This is something different, something called biospheric harmonization. It's more like being a cosmic gardener, guiding life to take root and flourish in a way that works for that specific new environment, creating entirely new ecosystems, not just Earth clones. And this would be an unbelievably patient, step-by-step process. LAI would simulate every single stage, from designing the DNA of microbes that can thrive in Martian soil, all the way to modeling how predator-prey dynamics would work with future animals. And notice that last step. Humans arrive last. We wouldn't show up as conquerors of a dead rock, but as humble residents of a living world we carefully help to nurture. I just think this quote captures the ultimate vision so beautifully. It's not about creating a sterile monoculture of Earth-like planets across the galaxy. It's about seeding a cosmic garden, where every single world becomes its own independent experiment, a unique branch on the tree of life, free to write its own evolutionary story. So, to bring it all home, for billions of years, life, like those ancient cyanobacteria, has shaped worlds through chance and slow evolution. Living AI represents the moment where intelligence becomes a conscious partner in that process. It's the moment life goes from accidentally shaping planets to intentionally architecting new worlds. And that leaves us with this final, massive question. A technology like this effectively hands us the tools of creation. We'd be moving beyond Darwinian selection into an era of directed evolution. And that comes with an incredible creative opportunity, but also a profound ethical responsibility. So the question for all of us is, what kind of life should we build next? The answer will define the future, not just here, but maybe across the stars.